go on a Monday. Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Good to have you with us. 1 week from today, I start Ed Schultz, the news with Ed Schultz on RT America. You can get it on Dish and also on Direct and, of course, on their website, rtnews.com. All right. Good to have you with us. Hope you had a great weekend. Some fantastic football over the weekend. I don't think I've ever seen one in my lifetime as to what happened with the Cardinals and the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is just flat out unbelievable. With an inferior receiving core, he brings his team back and almost wins a doggone thing. But it was exciting. It was great NFL. Great for the NFL. All right, the debate last night. We all knew that it was going to be a dust-up between Hillary and Bernie Sanders over health care and guns, and that's exactly what happened. But I kind of know how the Republicans feel right now watching their debates because they got a bunch of people on stage that have no chance. And last night it was so aggravating to see Clinton and Sanders heat it up, get it going back and forth, and all of a sudden there's Martin O'Malley saying, "Can I get 30 seconds? Can I get 30 seconds?" No, Martin, shut up. You're not going to win. That's how I felt as a viewer. As a viewer, that's how I felt. You know, he may have great ideas. He may be the nicest guy in the world. He may whatever, but he's not going to win. And there's just no way. And he just kind of got in the way of what could have been an unbelievable exchange back and forth. There were moments of brilliance between Sanders and Clinton on a number of different issues. But can I get 30 seconds? Can I get 30 seconds? I just got so sick of that. And I wish the networks, all of them, would figure it out. If you don't reach at least 10% in the polls, you're not in there, okay? Go do something else. Anyway, that's how I felt as a viewer. All right, maybe it was a hangover from the Packers losing. I don't know. It all started on State of the Union on Sunday with Bernie Sanders saying this about the attacks that he had been putting up with all week long.
Chelsea Clinton is a very, very smart and capable young woman. I'm sure she loves the mother, and she's trying to do everything she can to make sure her mom wins. That's pretty natural. I've got 4 kids, 7 grandchildren. They're rooting for me. But I was a little disappointed that what Chelsea said was simply not accurate. The issue that she was raising is that in Republican conservative states, a Medicare for All bill would not be implemented. That's not accurate. If a state does not go forward under my 2013 legislation, the federal government steps in. Bottom line here, Jake, is the United States is the only major country on earth does not guarantee health care to all people, and yet we spend much, much more per capita on health care than do the people of other countries, and we still have 29 million people uninsured and many more underinsured.
Okay, so it seemed to me, with that answer, Bernie Sanders was teeing it up for the moderators on NBC on Sunday night, because he said that the legislation that Hillary Clinton is talking about was addressed in 2013 because if the states didn't jump in the way she claims that they would have to, the federal government would pick it up. Case closed. Universal health care. So Hillary Clinton starts out, and I thought Bernie last night should have brought that out. He's a good debater, not great. And she is very crafty on her feet in this format. There's no question about it. So she goes on the attack last night.
We have been raising questions about the 9 bills that he introduced over 20 years as to how they would work and what would be the impact on people's health care. He didn't like that. His campaign didn't like it either. And tonight he's come out with a new health care plan. And again, we need to get into the details. But here's what I believe. The Democratic Party in the United States worked since Harry Truman to get the Affordable Care Act passed. We finally have a path to universal health care. We've accomplished so much already. I do not want to see the Republicans repeal it, and I don't want to see us start over again with a contentious debate. I want us to defend and build on the Affordable Care Act and improve it.
All right, and how would you do that? What would be your next step? Do you think that Terry Branstad of Iowa would not try to block everything? So the bottom line is it has to be federal to circumvent any kind of governor getting in the way of universal health care. That's the point. And the political reality in Washington is, yes, they have voted to get rid of Obamacare, and yes, the president had to veto all of that. It is definitely an era of protection when it comes to the Democrats on health care and what they've accomplished. But the fact is it's universal health care. We didn't even get the public option on the Affordable Care Act. So I think Hillary Clinton has to explain, and this is where Bernie missed an opportunity last night. Okay, how are you going to get us to universal health care by building on something that they continually try to get rid of? It has to be federal. And if the states have an option to get in and help out, that would be fantastic if they can do a better job. Bernie Sanders responded to all of this.
Secretary Clinton didn't answer your question. Because what her campaign was saying, Bernie Sanders, who has fought for universal health care for my entire life, he wants to end Medicare, end Medicaid, end the Children's Health Insurance Program. That is nonsense. What a Medicare for All program does is finally provide in this country health care for every man, woman, and child as a right.
As a right. I didn't hear Hillary say that last night. There are two different camps here and two different approaches. And so the question is, where are the American people on all of this? Now, that was one of the dust-ups. The second dust-up was all about gun control, and the third dust-up was about Wall Street. Hillary Clinton thinks that we have done enough on Wall Street with Dodd-Frank. Bernie Sanders thinks that we need to implement Glass-Steagall. Even Martin O'Malley was on that one, getting in the way, talking about it. So these are the three big issues that go into Iowa. Everybody's for jobs. Everybody's for minimum wage. Everybody's, for all the basics of being brilliant on the Democratic platform. But how we get to these three things is much different. Now, Bernie Sanders last night had a platform, and he continually went back to until we fix our political system. Until we change things when it comes to the billionaires throwing money into elections, we're not going to be able to accomplish the three big things that they were talking about. Because of the money supporting the firearms, because of the money for privatization, because of the money against universal health care, and because of the money to protect Wall Street. So how are we going to do it? For more on this, let's go to Jonathan Alter, MSNBC political analyst and very successful author and journalist over the years, and good friend. Jonathan, good to have you with us today.
Great to be here, Ed.
Break it down for us last night. What did you see in the debate on the three big issues, healthcare, Wall Street, and firearms?
Well, I think that in terms of where the Democratic Party is, Sanders has the edge on the role of money, the role of Wall Street, and on the issue of firearms, Hillary has the edge. And I think she also has the edge on health care. The reason is that Sanders is addressing kind of the fundamental issue that undergirds all of these issues, which is money in politics, the role of wealthy Americans and corporations in buying Congress. And while Hillary is not bad on those issues, Bernie's passion comes through more on them. However, on health care, where Hillary has a lot of credibility because of her work going back to the early 90s, I'm not sure the Democratic Party has the taste for reopening that can of worms right now. And her embrace of Obamacare, I think, was effective, especially in front of a South Carolina crowd that's very pro-Obama. And on guns, I think Hillary is closer to the mainstream of the Democratic Party right now and was able to put Bernie on the defensive somewhat. But it was a good-spirited debate. I'd call it a draw. And I think Democrats generally can be proud that they've got two candidates who are miles ahead of the Republicans in addressing the real issues of the country, and a hell of a lot nicer to boot.
You think